What's up, guys? Hey, coming to you again from the barn, and I just want to say, man, it has been another awesome month of Youth United Online, of our Devos, of our small groups. I hope that small groups and watch parties and all of these things that we've gotten to do this month have gone well for you guys and that you've enjoyed them. I know that myself and the rest of the youth team has really enjoyed being able to do these together, and I pray that you guys have been able to have some amazing conversation and that you can grow with your small groups, with your leaders, with your friends, and ultimately grow in a deeper understanding, a deeper knowledge of who Jesus is and our identity that lies within him. Jesus' life was far from easy. I mean, we're talking about the Son of God being sent to earth, knowing from the moment he entered the world the mission that he was going to be sent on, and ultimately ending in salvation for all. But the crucifixion, the gruesome just evil that he had to endure in order to really paint this picture for us of this is how much I love you, this is how much and how far I am willing to go for you, to show you that you are loved, that you are created with a purpose, that you are mine. And Jesus was so willing to sacrifice everything and stay so true to who he was that he was willing to do whatever it took, even dying on the cross, to show us, man, I love you. And I want to be with you. I want to live within you and work through you to show everybody else how much I love them too. And we've been reading this book as a staff, and I wanted to read a little chunk of it for you, so bear with me if books aren't your thing. It says, "It seemed that almost everyone had expectations or a false self to impose on Jesus' life. In living faithfully to his true self, he disappointed a lot of people. Jesus was secure in his Father's love in himself and thus was able to withstand enormous pressure. He left his family of origin and their expectations of a carpenter's son and became an inner-directed, separate adult. As a result, he disappointed his family. At one point, his mother and his siblings wondered if he was out of his mind. He disappointed the people he grew up with in Nazareth. When Jesus declared who he really was as the Messiah, his friends, those around him, tried to push him off a cliff. And you can read that in Luke chapter 4, verses 28 and 29. But even still, he remained self-assured in his beliefs, regardless of the outrage of the crowds in his hometown. He disappointed his closest friends, the 12 disciples. They projected onto Jesus their own picture of the kind of Messiah Jesus was to be. This did not include a shameful end to his life. They quit on him. Judas, one of Jesus' closest friends, stabbed him in the back for being true to himself. But even though they misunderstood him, Jesus never held it against them. Jesus never, ever wavered in who God called him to be. He was the Son of God sent down to earth in human form to live a sinless life, to change the lives of thousands of people, to die the death that we deserved, to be buried for 3 days, to be raised again, conquering sin, conquering death. But he wanted to show us so much how important we were, how beautifully made we were, that our lives were made with a purpose, that he was willing to disappoint people. He was willing to look like the crazy guy. He was willing to be whatever he had to be, whatever it is that the people around him painted him to be. All of these people now had these thoughts about Jesus, and it seemed like so many thought, this guy is nuts. He has no idea what he's talking about. Some people thought he was possessed by demons, and that's how he was doing what he was doing. People had painted a pretty clear picture of who Jesus was, the crazy guy. Jesus was so true to himself, so true to the mission that he was called on, that he was willing risk not having any close friends around him if that meant that people got to see what it meant to be alive, truly alive spiritually in a relationship with God the Father. In order to be true to the mission that God has called us on, in order to be true to the purpose that he's given us in our lives, we're reminded that we are going to disappoint people. So if you guys forget everything that I've said here, I just pray that you know this. Be true to who God has called you to be. be true to what Jesus has reminded us in Scripture, He will do immeasurably more than we might ever ask or think.